And we're live. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free. It is 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Saturday, November the 9th, 2024. I had set this live accidentally for an hour from now. It is my normal time right now, 9 p.m. my time. And for some reason, when I scheduled this live, it set it for 10. I didn't realize that until just now when I hopped in the studio to go live. It said that it wasn't going to be on for another hour. So I apologize for that. If anybody noticed that I was going to go live and it looked like it was going to be later than now. So I did just adjust that on the fly and start streaming at the same time. So sorry about that, but it is what it is. Daniel T and Brendan Brown in the house already. What's up, gentlemen? How you doing tonight? Hope you are well. Hope you've been well. It has been a few weeks since I've been on. And yeah, got about a foot to 18 inches of snow in my backyard right now. It has been a wild last 3 days here in Colorado. We got dumped on starting Wednesday and it just stopped last night / this morning. So a lot of snow, heavy snow that may or may not affect fishing over the next couple of weeks. It is going to warm up pretty quickly here. So for the next week or so, we're going to have weather in the 50s. So all of this snow will melt. I don't think any bodies of water have frozen. You know, of course, rivers and things like that are a bit more narrow are all but closed up. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. I was supposed to go fly fishing with my dad and a buddy of mine yesterday. I had requested the day off of work and everything, and they got 22 inches of snow there, and that river just closed up entirely. So we had to cancel on that, unfortunately. But I think I should still have another couple weeks of open water bass fishing before everything is kind of done for the year here. But yeah, sorry, not really trying to use the S word, but it is what it is here in Colorado, dude. It's kind of late for the first snow of the year for us, but it happens. Big Malone, what's up, dude? Your package is going out on Monday. Okay, I apologize for the delay, but I'm not forgetting about it. Okay, Tom Mix, what's up, my man? Guys, I've got a little unboxing for you from Discount Tackle. This has been sitting in my mailbox for like a week now. I don't remember what I ordered, but it'll be fun to open it nonetheless. And I'm not necessarily prepared to do a giveaway tonight, but maybe we should still consider doing that. All right. Seeing a couple familiar things. I don't know where the paper or slip is in here for what I had ordered, but I guess I'll show that to you after. Not trying to spoil anything and show you what's in the package while I'm fishing this out. Okay. Did manage to find the slip. It is, in fact, the same sticker as last month. I like that design. Pretty sweet, if you ask me. And the old slip. We spent $86. Pretty standard for me. I will just say that if you spend over $59, you get free shipping. And so I always do. Big baits. Let's see. Kind of, not really. You'll see. Maybe. Kind of. Not really. I mean, nothing like last stream, dude. But yeah. Last stream was probably kind of exciting for Brendan in that, you know, there was that guy and there were some Huddlestons. We got that ridiculous deal on the Molex Glide. So, yeah, had some swim baits last stream. All fun ways to open? What you talking about? What did I say? Making your girlfriend sand baits. Look at you, man. All right. So, I guess for Brendan's sake, we can start with the bigger baits. Not big. Got a new color of the Bass Mafia loaded 6-inch. Okay, not the 7, but the 6-inch. This is their like albino color. What do they call it? I already lost the slip. That's not this month's. Yeah, violet albino. So pretty freaking rad color here. Check that out. See, it's got that green iridescence to it, but really like a purple shimmer. Beautiful color. I've got the 6-inch and the 7-inch in these baits. And I don't really know why I didn't get the 7. Maybe it was color selection that was the deal. And I really wanted to grab one in this color because I think it's beautiful. But really cool bait. I like the design. Couple of the little features, you know, that it is a super flat bottom bait. So you could kill this thing and just kind of drag it on the bottom. And it is going to sit upright and stay fairly weedless for you. I like the harness system and obviously the line through design. Really pretty rad. I am a fan of this bait. So yeah, I feel like it's supposed to click in place a little bit better than it is right this second. I'm not going to fiddle with it too much, but anyway, 6-inch Bass Mafia loaded Zaldangerous swim bait. That guy was on sale $13.49, not too shabby. And then I did get the newer, smaller size in the 5-inch, which is pretty rad. Oh, Daniel, don't do that. Yeah, there's a lot of jokes to be made there, and they're all very inappropriate. Don't say that. Yep, well designed. I haven't fished the 316, so I can't quite speak on that bait, but all the power to you. Remind me what the name of that actual bait is, because I considered grabbing one or two of those recently. There was a sale that had caught my eye right after last live stream that I did. I doubt it's still going on, but the deals were like pretty silly good on that one as well. And I was really tempted to grab some stuff there. Didn't quite pull the trigger on that, but this is the 5-inch loaded in the Ghost IU color. So another new color for them. It is pretty sweet. We got that white bottom, ghosty translucency, but not too much. We get that chartreuse line down the side, and then kind of this brown goldish back. Very pretty straightforward color. And you'll notice size-wise, this thing is pretty reasonable. And yet, it's still going to have all the same tail characteristics of its bigger siblings. So I just wanted to see in my hands what this bait was like in the smaller size. And if in fact it was going to be as soft and have quite as much tail action. And I am pleasantly surprised to see that it does. I love that this bait is not quite as speed sensitive as the Mag Draft or some others in this category of baits that kind of have a specific retrieve that you have to adhere to. So that's the 5-inch. And it was a little cheaper, $11.69. Not mad about that. I will probably end up getting a few more in that 5-inch when color selection is a little bit better. Yeah, I'm still not saying the name and model of that bait, but that's okay. Now, let's go ahead and share my screen real quick. We can take a look at the BASS Mafia. So these are what's new. Final copy is now in. Some of the Strike King new baits. That hair jig looks pretty good. Look, they made a Bitsy poppin' perch. That's interesting. Okay, let's get down to that Zaldangerous 5-inch, because I swear it was, yeah. So loaded 5-inch. Are the colors better now? Yep. So this is the 5-inch. These are the colors that are in stock. See, now everything is freaking there. Not the one that I got. That seems to be out of stock right now. That's the Shallow and the Ghost IU. That is the one that I got. This Yamame looks pretty sweet, like a little baby trout, little baby brook trout or rainbow trout. But that Violet Albino I would have gotten in the 5-inch. Tennessee Shad looks pretty dang similar to the Ghost IU, honestly. In person, the Ghost IU that I got, that chartreuse line is not quite as aggressive as what you see here in the picture. But Pro Perch is a pretty cool looking color pattern. Pro Bass is not bad either. Danger Zone. And then, of course, the classic Blackback Shad. So, yeah, a lot of colors available right now in that 5-inch, which is cool. But that is a new size and is available. So go ahead and check them out. Daniel T just dropped the link. And so this is just the general link, not necessarily to that Zaldangerous swim bait. But if you're going to shop at Discount Tackle, please do go ahead and use my link. It lets them know that I sent you their way, and it gives me a small commission whenever you do make a purchase there. So I would greatly appreciate that, but no pressure. Malone, that's a pretty dang good deal, dude. I would probably stock up on a handful of things there. There may or may not be a Crush City bait or two in here, but I definitely didn't get them for $2.39 a pack, my man. Yeah, Rising Sun. I figured as much. Has a tube in it. Okay. I tend to do better on paddle tails, but I don't throw giant baits all that often. So I couldn't tell you, like, was it Debo that was talking about it the other day or posted about it the other day? Like, oh, Chad shad or 8-inch cool shad. I have pretty limited experience with both of those. I usually don't go much bigger than like a 6-inch paddle tail. Sometimes I'll throw a 7, but yeah, then same with glide baits. I'm usually throwing kind of that mid-range size, like a Chad shad, anything in the like 6 to 7.5-inch range, but doesn't mean that I don't have or won't throw bigger baits, 8 to 10 inches. Okay, next up, this is kind of a weird bait. I don't know whether I'm going to like it or not. I wanted to be able to see it in person. I knew that it kind of became available in the last couple of months, and I was tempted to grab it from one or two other retailers since seeing it available, and ultimately decided against it. But once Discount Tackle got it and it was time to make a monthly purchase, I decided, oh, what the hey, we'll throw it in, see what it's about, and let the people know once I have a chance to try it out. So this is the Buka Bull Rat, the baby bull rat. Okay. I kind of wish there was more of like a true mid size of this, not a baby bull rat, but also not a full size. They really downsize here, and it's cool because this bait does come with a spare tail. I like that. So let's talk about the features of it real quick. This thing is 3.75 inches and weighs 3/4 of an ounce. So it's a pretty small bait. It's a wake bait. I like that it at least has 2 hooks on it. And the stock hooks are pretty good, but they look to be like, size 4 at most, maybe a little smaller than that. Placement of the hooks is good. They are not swiveling hook hangers on there. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah, this tail is on here by way of a centering pin. So that's a cool feature that not many rats have. So makes for a real easy swap of tail if you want to put a contrasting color tail on there, or of course, after a number of fish eat the bait or just rip the tail off while they're trying to eat the bait, then makes it very easy to switch and put a new tail on there. But these tails are super soft, probably will not last very long. But this is the baby bull rat. I love how it's got that textured look and design to it. This is kind of a natural brown color pattern. They call it river rat. So I like this color pattern. River rat. Brown, black, white. Got those pink ears and the pink nose, but otherwise pretty cool. You'll notice that there is a decent amount of space between the joints, but not a huge amount of play. A little bit more squeaky than it is clacky. I'll have to see what it actually sounds like out on the water and what its action is like, because there is no rattle inside. So you're just working with whatever sound these joints make, clacking against each other and squeaking around. But I do like the look of the bait, but hard saying not knowing without having fished this before. It's not all that expensive, so that's why I bought it. It was $20.69. So not a fantastic deal, but also not all that expensive. So I wanted to take a peek at it myself, and I will fish it sooner than later and let you guys know my opinions on it and whether it might be worth it to buy. You know, I do like the shape, and you know that it's a bit fatter than what you would find in other baits of this size. This is probably a little bit more in line with, like, you know, the Spro 30 sized rat, but pretty cool. Brennan says, ooh, that's a fun little bait to fish. Got to see that guy in action before it was in production when Shan fished it with me. Nice. Cranks down to like 3 feet as well. Nice. Okay. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, dude, I'm in love with the Spro rats. They've just done so well for me for a number of years. So that's why this one kind of caught my attention. I wish it was a little bit bigger than it is, but I am a fan of kind of that mid-size rat. So outside of those first 3 bigger ones, those are the first 3. I think so. We got a number of soft plastics and a little bit of terminal tackle. Oh, there's one oddball in here that you might have seen on that front page of Discount Tackle. Don't ask why I got this other than to just show you, tell you about it. But this is the freaking Z-Man Graph Shads. I don't fish from a boat. I don't have a graph. I don't have forward-facing sonar, but the design of this bait caught my attention for sure, and I'm impressed by a lot of the little details. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this packaging open on one of these. I'll leave it open so that maybe, well, I say open, I mean I will not open the other one, so that there's the possibility that I could give away the other one if you guys are interested in that. But this is a lot like the Dark Sleeper or something, where you really have to destroy the packaging to get it off, and then you're left with this nice clamshell. But in terms of what we're working with, you get one jig head and body that are already pre-rigged, and then you get another spare body. Okay, so couple things that are cool about this bait. Now I get it. This is made to be a forward-facing sonar type of bait. Technically speaking, with that 90-degree line tie, it's going to have a horizontal posture as it's swimming through the water, and then you get that straight tail, kind of like a fluke. You'll notice that this tail is a little bit unique. It's kind of thicker and more weighted on the bottom than it is on top. And my poor dog is slipping going up the stairs. She had some serious issues about a week and a half ago. Had to take her to the animal hospital and stuff. Old lady syndrome. They call it vestibular disease. But we thought she was having seizures and whatnot. She could not move and was really struggling for about 3 or 4 days. Took her in after the first day because it was just, she was not at all herself. So the Graph Shads, check this out. Um, I don't really know. I thought this was a true line through bait. It does have a line through head. Okay. But you tell me, you run your line up through the bottom of the head and then tie your knot on top. I thought this was a line through where the hook would actually separate from the head, but I think I just read wrong. Maybe didn't pay close enough attention to how these are supposed to work. But nice little feature is that it's got that extra hanger on the bottom so that you could throw a treble hook on bottom and tuck it to the bottom of the bait. And then you've got two hooks to work for you. But in general, I like just the profile of this soft plastic and how narrow the whole thing is. I like how these color schemes, the heads are painted to match these bodies perfectly on all the colors. You'd be able to see that on discounttackle.com very well. So yeah, if you have any input about how exactly this is supposed to be rigged, do you run your line from the top down and tie your knot, or from the bottom up? I would think from the bottom up, but I might just not be using my brain all that well right now. Let's go ahead and go over to Discount Tackle and see if they say anything specific about it. We had just seen the graph shads. There's that Buka bull rat. Graph shads, where are you? So check that out. Just gold to match the gold. Silver to match the silver. White to match the white with the glimmer on there. Gobi sauce is the one I just opened and showed you. Beautiful. And Tennessee shad is the other one that I bought. And just think that they're lovely. The electric shad would be probably one of my top picks, but it has been sold out since it became available. I decided to go with the lightest sizes because I'm not fishing from a boat and because I want to be able to fish this thing slow and shallow as well if I have to. So that is the idea. Now, pre-rig jig, Elastec body, line through jig head, and recessed line tie for consistent balanced presentation. Okay, so it doesn't say exactly how you're supposed to run the line, but maybe I'm just being dumb, not actually thinking about it. Yeah, dude, I would appreciate that. Way to go, Cast and Chill. On the graph shads or on the bull rat? I think it's possible that one of my kids is up right now, unless that's my dog just being super loud, laying down. All right, dude. Going to get some dessert. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you for hanging out. Oh yeah, for sure. I got these baits that I'm not really sure how to use them, but in order to figure it out, I'm gonna need some additional equipment. I'm gonna need a boat and a bunch of graphs. So We're good with that, right? So 2 packs of the Graph Shads. They're not cheap, but they're also not a bad deal. You know, you pay $5.94 per pack. So, like I said, not cheap, but also not outrageously expensive. Nice that you get this spare body, and that they're made of ElaZtech, right? So here's the jig head by itself. Does have a decent bait keeper on there. A little unique from what you'd normally see in that it's that kind of dual style bait keeper, and that it's kind of all built in one together. You got that notch on the bottom that's really going to grip onto whatever soft plastic you're using. ElaZtech is one of the only things that will go on and come off multiple times. Other soft plastics, once it's rigged on and you try to take that off, you're going to destroy that soft plastic. So cool shape hook on here. And yeah, then obviously the soft plastic is ElaZtech and is going to have some extreme durability. So that's pretty sweet. I believe these have a rigging line already on there for you. Lost the package already. Yeah, so what's cool is on the extra body, do you see that hole right there on top of the bait? They're telling you exactly where to come out. Right where that line, that light is shining, there is a hole on top of the bait there telling you this is where you need to come out. So pretty sweet, makes for easy rigging. And if you goof it up, you can back it off and give her another shot. And you've got a lot of room for forgiveness to get it right and make sure that it's perfect before you actually go fish it. So do love that. That's perhaps one of my favorite things about Z-Man is the durability and forgiveness. There are some downsides, but I think the upsides outweigh the downsides. I've always been a fan of Z-Man, and I don't think that'll stop. You guys know that I'm a big fan of ElaZtech and have gotten into other baits that are made from similar materials. Now that other brands have started to put stuff out that is in that same category. Dustin, you dirty dog. You're not wrong, though, dude. Okay. So, speaking of Elastomer and speaking of Crush City, I think Daniel was saying he saw a deal going on for Crush City at like less than $3 per bag, which is insane. But here's the Ned BLT in the Ghost Morning Dawn. I'm a fan of this Ned BLT, but I definitely don't have it in the Ghost Morning Dawn and just wanted to see what this color is like in person. So you got no purple in here. We got pink. I don't know that I would call that purple. It's more of like a pearl belly. And you got some pink red flake in there as well. So the Ned BLT is a sweet little Ned rig bait. Very stretchy. No salt in there, so it does stand up nicely. I like the taper on the tail. I like the ribbing. You get the ribbing all throughout on the belly and then on the top on the tail. But interesting design in the shaping. It can look like a number of different things that fish like to eat. I don't think it's scented. But Ghost Morning Dawn, a little bit out there color, but when fishing the Ned rig for smallmouth or potentially even for trout, this is something that I might fish full size, or I might cut down a little bit and fish a little bit shorter. But good bait on a Ned rig, good bait on a free rig, on a tiny little shaky head, on a baby-sized Nico rig, or on a drop shot. It's a good bait all around, and I do not mind having another pack of those guys. So that dude was $4.32. So pretty good deal. It was definitely on sale, but not as good as what I was hearing earlier in terms of what you might be able to find them for now. Are you still making dirty jokes, or are you talking about the BLT? Yeah, it doesn't smell like bacon. We'll say that. You're not wrong, but it's also kind of the time that we're living in, dude. Both TTs. What else could I ask for, gentlemen? I appreciate you guys for joining in. While we're on Crush City Baits, and Daniel, if you could remind us where you saw the deal that's going on for Crush City Baits, where can we get Crush City soft plastics for so cheap right now? This is one that I had not tried yet. Still don't have, except for right now. Now I do have one pack of the Mayors. So I initially didn't try these because it's just another soft plastic swim bait. And do I really need it? Not really. I tend to have kind of my favorites. And so I avoided it. In this 3-inch size, I tend to fish a few specific baits. I like a 3.3-inch Kitech. I like a 3-inch Megabass Spark Shad, and I like a 3-inch Z-Man why can't I think of it? Just minnows. Once you get to the 4, 5, and 7-inch, they're called the diesel minnows, but at the smaller 3-inch size, it's just called the minnows. So I was a little hesitant to try this bait, but in the 3-inch size was the one that maybe appealed to me the most, and why I ultimately did buy this. Little bit stiffer, pretty decent sized paddle tail, wide open belly that I did not really expect there on a 3-inch bait, which is interesting and pretty cool. So who knows? I might end up fishing this weedless on like a 1/0 flashy swimmer, little underspin, or I might just throw it on a standard ball jig or on a mini swim jig or something like that, or just on a drop swim type of rig. But this comes 8 to a pack, and I want to say that the deal was about the same on these guys. $4.55. So at about 50 cents a bait, I decided to get them on my hands and see what they're all about. They do have more of that like black licorice type of scent on them, which I don't mind. Not a bad scent per se, but Dustin says swim shad bead with a size 8 treble for smallmouth. Swim shad head. Okay. Yeah, probably not a great idea. Oh, Daniel, you didn't mention it? I can just go right back up to the top. Let's see. Who said it? Malone said it. Big Malone. Black Friday Crush City deal, $239. Malone, are you still in here? Where was that? Where is that? I do. Yep. You're just talking about the line through heads from 6 Cents? Yeah, that would fit pretty dang well on these with their slightly blunt nose with the size 8 treble. Sounds like a good rig, dude. I am not mad at that. All right, we got 2 terminal tackle items. Little oddball here, but I will say BKK has started putting out more and more stuff, and Discount Tackle has been picking them up. Now, I think most retailers have as well. You know, if you're not using BKK hooks yet, you are missing out. They make some really, really high quality stuff. I think it's really cool that it's become mainstream enough to where some lure manufacturers are now putting BKK hooks stock on their baits. That is really encouraging. Super cool. So these hooks right here are the Drop Shot long shank hooks, which I'm pretty pumped about. Go ahead and crack these open if I can figure out a smart way to open them. Well, I don't know why I say smart way. I just wanted to get them out of here. Look at the cool freaking packaging on these. So whatever that they're in this, but once you get the hooks, they come in a little box of their own. I love that. Instead of the little plastic bag that you're used to getting from Gamakatsu and every other manufacturer, how sweet is this? Drop Shot long shank, size 1, 5/0, tells you to use it on 3 to 4 inch baits. Then it says right there, size 1. So for easy storage, this is freaking rad. Just packaging alone. But I bought the hooks for the hook design itself. Check this out. This right here reminds me of like the VMC Nico hook, but a little bit lighter wire. And I like the look of this hook. And it does have this little hook keeper built into it. Pretty subtle, but also going to be effective. So I like the look of this hook, the shape of it, a little bit of an O'Shaughnessy, super sticky as you would expect, but size 1 hook, essentially something that I could use on like this dude if I'm fishing it on a drop shot. So like I said, 3 to 4 inch baits. So grab a BLT. You're essentially just going to rig it Texas style. This is how I'm probably going to use this hook most of the time. I just rigged it wrong. I didn't rig it wrong. I just pulled it out too far because this bait keeper is pretty sturdy. So once I pulled it through and wanted it to catch on there, it pulled the whole hook straight out. So then what we're going to do is just line her up there, and we're going to pull it through. Okay, so not necessarily my best rigging, but also that works great. So size-wise, I would say about a 3-inch bait is what you're looking at. You could use did I say 3/8? 3-inch bait. You could also use this on a 3.5, 3 3/4, like a Strike King Baby Z2, one of my favorite drop shot baits. This would be perfect, especially when you're fishing around heavier stuff. But you don't have to fish it weedless. You could easily rig this thing straight through and come out the back of the bait for an exposed type of presentation. I'm rigging this all wrong. Let's see how this turns out. Uh-oh. It's caught inside the bait. That hook keeper's good. All right. So that's more or less how she would look when rigging it with an open hook. Plenty of bite on there, but size-wise is good. You'd want the head of the nose of that hook to be out for the sake of your drop shot and the line coming down. But the last way that I would rig it, Dustin, you're right, would be a good hook for a robo worm or a small flirt worm. Flatworm, yep. But the other way to rig it is just like what a lot of us do with the VMC hook. And that is to fish it like a Nico hook. So you're not using that bait keeper, taking advantage of it there, but it doesn't matter. Just throw a nail weight in the nose of that bait, and voila, you've got an awesome little Nico hook with a great hookup ratio. So yeah, happy about those hooks. I very well might stock up a little bit more on those. I just wanted to see what they were about, because looking at them online, I thought to myself, that is a great design. I think until now, that VMC Nico hook has been kind of my favorite by a long shot. So to see another one kind of in the same type of class caught my attention. And then I had no idea that the packaging was this way. And I freaking love it. Love it. So very happy with that. Those were BKK. $5.59 for the pack of 5 hooks. Not cheap, but also about what I would expect. Not a horrible deal. Other type of BKK hook that I got is the Lone Sniper inline hooks. I would have preferred a different size in this dude, but I'll be able to make do with this size 1. I believe ordinarily you size up by like 3 or 4. So for example, this size 1 is going to be the equivalent of like a size 4. More like a size 2. So I believe this square bill has like size 4 treble hooks on it. And this size 1 inline looks to be a little too big for it. So, yeah, this is really mostly going to be to replace like size 2 or even 1/0 treble hooks. And yeah, inline hook. I don't fish inline hooks a lot, but I plan to more and more. There is a new reservoir near me that was built about 5 to 10 years ago and just kind of, I say kind of opened, because it's on a rolling basis. It is literally a mile south of me, and it's a massive reservoir, which is sweet. Both of you guys, good night. Late stuff, fine by me. All good. Thank you guys for joining in. It's late, but it's not that late. That said, feel free to leave when you guys need to. Doesn't really hurt my feelings. So the point is, there is a reservoir that is brand new by my house that is going to be an awesome fishery. And it'll be interesting to see how it develops. They started stocking it like 6 years ago, and the reservoir has only gotten fuller and deeper, and the fish have grown. And I've heard that it is supposed to be a good fishery. However, they're being pretty strict so far. This year was the first year that they allowed fishing, and it was on a reservation only basis. So they extremely limited the number of people that were allowed to fish on a day-to-day basis. And I heard that they checked all your stuff. And I think it was no treble hooks allowed. No scented baits, obviously no live bait. And they limited you to like how much tackle you could bring, but they went through all of your tackle. So I haven't been there yet, but I've talked to a couple of people that said it is wild just how strict they are about what you can use, and that they go through all your stuff. But if those are the hoops you have to jump through to be able to fish a brand new body of water where the fish are not very pressured, then sweet, that's fine. So income, the single inline hooks. So that is the main reason that I got these, is so that I could fish some of my hard baits that I ordinarily would that have treble hooks, and just swap them out for inline hooks. That was the idea there. And then I got two more baits, and that is it. I probably would have unboxed these in a different order had I thought ahead of what was in the package. But like I said, when I first started this, I had no idea what was in here. I didn't remember having ordered this stuff. I ordered it like 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And it's been sitting in my mailbox for like a full week. But these are oddball Z-Man lures that I wouldn't necessarily ordinarily buy, but they kind of caught my attention. This is the Big Ballers. This is really a saltwater bait, but I got the Baby Ballers, which is in their micro series of baits, and I like it. So seeing that they have a full size called the Big Ballers caught my attention. But this is a saltwater bait with saltwater colors. So I went with this Bayou Tiger color, which I could see it translating fairly well. It's kind of a hybrid between a black and chartreuse, black blue chartreuse. Unique color with a little bit of gold flake in there. And then check this out. It's got the same kind of splitting as like the chatter shad, some of those other baits, the way that it's kind of chopped up, filleted a little bit to give you that segmentation. But then it has the balls on the end. So you're going to get a little extra action and kick out of that than you would out of a bait that doesn't have the weight on the end, or that has a straight tail or more segmentation. But I like the look of that. I think this would make a good chatterbait trailer. I think it would make a good fluke style bait. I don't know. It just kind of caught my attention as one to potentially give a shot. So interesting, big ballers. And considering it's a saltwater color, I'm kind of into it. You know, you don't see colors quite this creative in the freshwater scheme of things. So I'll let you know what I think of that when I have a chance to try it. I could end up being surprised about that. I'm going to try and keep an open mind. I am excited to give it a shot. And I think it could be fished on other applications as well. I think it could do well on a shaky head or a Nico rig. And then last one is another Z-Man that I have never fished. For whatever reason, you know, I think I've kind of avoided this bait because it's a saltwater bait. And then as I had an open mind about that big ballers, kind of made me think about, well, maybe I could apply the same mindset to this bait. This is the Trout Trick. Have you guys tried this? This is a little bit more of a freshwater friendly color pattern called Green Lantern. And there was something about the design of this bait, the shape of it, that reminded me a lot of that new the G-Crack bait that I opened last month. I think it's called the Revival Shad. And, you know, Depths also makes a very similar profile bait. So now I've got a little bit more of an open mind to this profile. It is just a straight tail. It's not split or anything. And then it's got that kind of ribbed body with a flat top. Does have a slot if you want to rig it weedless. But pretty cool bait here. Obviously made from Elastec, going to be super durable. But from a color standpoint, I really like this. Kind of looks like an electric shad type of belly with kind of like a watermelon type of top. Super, super clear, beautiful, like juvenile baby bass type of pattern that doesn't bother me at all. So decided to pick up a pack of those and see what it's about. And those were the last two. So price point on these guys, the big ballers was $5.09. And the Trout Trick was $4.20. So that brings the grand total to $86 for this month's unboxing. A lot of cool stuff. You know, it was like 10 or so things in total. The 2 pieces of terminal tackle from BKK. The 2 Bass Mafia loaded swim baits, 6-inch and 5-inch. 5-inch being the new size. Both of them being in newer colors, right? So this little violet albino is nasty. And then this Ghost IU is pretty sweet as well. But when you just consider the size difference, it's pretty substantial. And weight-wise, we're talking 1.6 ounces versus 0.95 ounces. So less than an ounce on the 5-inch and 1.7, which is still not heavy. I mean, you can throw that on a standard frog setup for the 6-inch. It's not until you get to the 7-inch where it's a bit heavier, and you know, you maybe at the 2 ounce and change territory. But the two Bass Mafias, I got those Z-Man Graph Shads just to check out, and I like the look of them. I'm not mad about the purchase, honestly. Now I have already lost track of them. I don't know where they're at. That other pack. Who gives? The 2 packs of Rapala Crush City. I got one of the 3-inch Mayer and one of the Ned BLT in that smallmouth type of color with the Ghost Morning Dawn. I got that baby Buka rat, dude. Little bit of an impulse purchase, but one that I'm not mad about. The only hard bait in this month's unboxing, and then got those 2 one-off saltwater baits from Z-Man in the Big Ballers and the Trout Tricks. So nice little variety. Nothing too crazy, but did get to try a lot of new stuff. If you didn't know by now, a big part of my strategy for these purchases and these unboxings is to go to Discount Tackle once a month. And what I do is go to new arrivals, and I scroll through and see what is fresh at Discount Tackle and what catches my eye, what I do not have but might want to use for one reason or another, right? And a lot of it comes down to value, innovation, and just practicality for me. You know, it's like just out of these fresh things, just so you kind of understand my train of thought. This drip swimmer and drip minnow, I don't see myself fishing. I reserve the right to change my mind on that. Interesting that this drip swimmer has a baby little paddle tail on it. The drip minnow is a straight tail, but I see that as a drop shot bait more than anything. With its pointed nose, it gets a little bit tricky of like, how are you supposed to fish that? They're not even mentioning in the description, which is hilarious. Designed with an internal core. What is that? What do you mean? An internal core? What is the core? Weight? I don't know, but it doesn't necessarily grab my attention. Some more jig heads. Picasso's a little bit overpriced. Dirty Jigs Guppy Head. I mean, that's a classic. Would be one that I would probably get some of, but haven't necessarily needed to use them. I use Gamakatsu round balls. I use the Megabass Okashira screw heads. I have kind of my go-tos when it comes to heads for small stuff. And this is a quality jig head, but it's also expensive, right? We're looking at, almost $3 per jig head. It's not an underspin and doesn't have, it's got a Mustad hook on it, but I think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. I've got some new reels and stuff, but final copy, the price point is there that it's tempting. And it's cool that there is a small size, kind of like what I got today with that 5-inch Zal Dangerous. But I haven't heard great things about this bait, and I'm not in a rush to go try it. So even though it's a good deal at $8, I hear that it does not run true, has kind of some issues. Is this really a baby-sized frog? I don't know. Yeah, 1/4 ounce frog, pop and perch. I'm not like a huge fan of the pop and perch, so whatever. I don't throw spinner baits a ton, let alone slow roll spinner baits on the bottom. So it's called the bottom dweller. We're looking at just a 3/4 ounce and a 1 ounce. That's not really my style. And then a 12-inch curly tail worm from Strike King. That's nothing new, but also something that I don't fish very often. That is kind of how I think through this stuff. So I looked at all these new hooks from BKK and thought, okay, flipping hook, I could see. Or what is this guy? And I look a little bit closer. See, this is a long shank drop shot hook. And I just saw that, sold out, sold out, sold out. Maybe I would prefer a 1/0 or a 2/0 size hook, but the number 1 was in stock, so I picked them up. Weren't they on sale when I bought them? Yeah, I paid $5.59, not $6.99. So that was another reason that it motivated me. There's that Graph Shads, Scope Shad. There's a bunch of freaking scope stuff. But that is my general thought process. You can see that, here's that bull rat wake bait and the big ballers. I was a little bit tempted to try the Dead Man Walking, but it's not exactly topwater season for me anymore. But most of the stuff that I bought in this package is stuff that is new to Discount Tackle in the last month. All of this stuff that I've just showed you on these first 2 pages is new in the last month. This kind of looks ridiculous. In my opinion, I'm not trying that. Does not appeal to me. I'd rather just take that rat wake bait. I have the baby bull shads themselves. I don't need a buzzbait blade on the front of it. I do have some of these hooks already, so that's why you didn't see me get them. Love this design where you get that bait keeper on the front and you get the stopper that you can move. Really cool. But I like to check Discount Tackle on a regular basis and then decide to scoop stuff up that is fresh and let you guys know that it exists at Discount Tackle. Let you know the price point and what I got it for and show you up close, then explain why I got it. So that's where I'm at. Tom Mix, all good. Feel free to call it a night, dude. I probably won't be on much longer as it is. So thank you for joining. Yeah, see the 25 and 30, those are freaking small baits, dude. like this little 25 is too small, right? The baby bull rat makes the 25 look really tiny. Now the 30 is a little bit closer, as I suspected, to the size of this baby bull rat. So you can see that pretty close size-wise. I want to say that the Spro 30 is about a half ounce, whereas the baby bull rat is 3/4 of an ounce. And then the Spro 40 is an ounce. And it is arguably my favorite size. Not arguably, by a long shot. It's my favorite size in the Spro rat. It has been the most productive for me by a long shot. It probably goes 40, 30, 50, 25 for me. But yeah. I hear you, DT. Shout out to Daniel T for providing the links and being a good moderator tonight. As always, I super appreciate that, dude. Thank you for doing that. We got 14 people in here, and we're not super active in the chat right now. That is fine. But if you guys don't have anything specific that you want to talk about, we'll probably wrap this up shortly here. I don't have a lot else that I'd like to talk about necessarily. Just wanted to unbox that with you, show my face, say what's up. Hope you guys are having a great fall. I have not had a lot of opportunities to get out, which is disappointing, but also happens to the best of us. Everything is weather related this time of year, you know? So if you're fortunate enough to have stable, cooling weather and you can get out on the water on a regular basis, then all the power to you. I would be out on the water probably 3 or 4 times a week if I could, but that is not the case for me. That is weather permitting and work permitting as well. But really, you've been throwing that 6 cents trace, dude? Nice. That is a bait that I never gave perhaps enough credit to. I just haven't put very much time into it, if we're being honest. I don't know if I have it sitting in here. Yeah, I've got its tail stashed somewhere else, but there's that trace. Multi-jointed straight swimmer. You've been digging it, or it's just been producing well for you? Got the right sound. Almost chatters like a rat. Well, I don't know about that, but I hear you. The Chad's going to get a lot of use for me next year, I will say. I fished it a handful of times this year and got the hang of how to work it, or how I prefer to fish it. And so I'm excited to actually put it to the real test and not just fiddle around with it. But I've got some confidence in it. I wish that I would have done the same with the Tiny Clash this year, I don't know if I was more scared to fish it or why that happened. Maybe it's just an intimidation factor of the bill coming into play and not knowing the right situation for the right rigging and application. You know, it's like the Chad Shad just is what it is, and it really has one or two retrieves where it's going to excel, and you just gotta put it there, figure it out, get it to do what it does best, and go after them. But a bait like the Tiny Clash, or perhaps even like this Bait Sanity Gen 2 Glide, are ones that can almost feel intimidating in that depending on the tail, depending on, you know, the lip arrangement of the Tiny Clash, this bait can do more than one thing, and it can kind of confuse you in figuring out where's the best place, what is the right time to do something specific with it, how do I decide, and that indecision can kind of get the best of you. But there's that Scope Shad we were talking about that I saw on Discount Tackle. I bought that like a month or two ago. Looks like a cool bait. I like the shape of it. This is the 3-inch version of it. They make it in a 4-inch as well. But it's got a flat top, like so, and then a round belly. Round, deep belly with a flat top. Gary Yamamoto, made of their floater material that is new in the last couple of years. So that's probably going to make a good drop shot bait as well as a scope bait, if you will. But as you guys know, I don't fish that way. It's just not practical for me since I'm fishing from the bank 9 times out of 10. So anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about? The bass been smoking it. That's awesome news, Daniel. Send me some pics on Instagram, but glad to hear that the Trace has been putting in work for you. That is a bait that, like, I fished a handful of times when I first got it and then did not really commit to it. I mean, that's been the case with a lot of things, if we're being honest. I'm looking over at the 6 Sense Draw, Megabass Eye Slide 262. I already said that the DRT Tiny Clash. Those are just a few over there in that category of baits that are not in my swim bait tackle box. But same thing has happened with the IMA. I forget what it's even called. The IMA glide bait with the G-Rat, Sneaky Pete. A few others. So, yeah. Forgot that I had a couple of 8-inch Coal Shads, couple of 9-inch Nessies. I think next live stream, I'll give away one of these 9-inch Nessies. Still got to give away this as well, but since you guys are not really contributing in the chat and I'm just blabbing, we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. We'll go ahead and call it there. I appreciate you guys jumping in and hanging out tonight. DiscountTackle.com. You can click the link in the description to this video. Hop on, see what's new. Buy some apparel. Buy some baits at a good deal. You can purchase anything that I bought tonight, and most of it's on discount right now. Should be, but a large majority of stuff at Discount Tackle is discounted on a regular basis. Go ahead and check out this link. It should be posted in the description of this video. Click that, shop at Discount Tackle, spend $59 or more, and you get free shipping. And it does ship fast. It'll be to your house in 3 days, unless you're super far east, maybe 4 days. But great deal, great place to shop. I love them, and I hope you will too. So, yeah, exactly. There's no discount code to use to save more money. It is called Discount Tackle for a reason. So there's no more money to save by plugging in a code of any sort there. That doesn't exist. But Daniel says he's in Kentucky, and it's usually still 3 days. Nice. Comes from Oregon, but it gets packed and shipped fast. I have not fished the California Delta, but thank you for asking, dude. Appreciate you engaging in conversation. No, I haven't fished for bass much outside of Colorado. I live in Colorado. That is really where I grew up fishing. And funny enough, I was gone for like 10 or 12 years and then came back and then got into bass fishing. So didn't get into bass fishing when I was living in Maryland. I fished in Florida and maybe one or two other places on a tiny little bit when fishing for bass, but nope. I don't really travel to bass fish. So wish that I could say that I have, but all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you have a great rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy your Sunday tomorrow. Go Broncos. We're going to need a lot of luck in playing the Kansas City Chiefs tomorrow. So we beat them last year for the first time in like 7 or 8 years. Patrick Mahomes bugs me. Maybe next live stream we can talk about professional bass fishing. And, once I've done a little bit more research, interesting to see that BASS has decided to go the route of eliminating entry fees for the elites. I'm interested, excited for them, curious to know kind of the ins and outs of that. So we'll talk about it next time. But thank you guys for your support. Appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button for me. If somehow you're not already subscribed to the channel, do me that favor, and I'll see you again in the next week. Okay, bye, guys.